Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ravaged province of Wherein, where the Persians are not only fortifying in several locations, but attacking our walled city of Edessa. Meanwhile, Arcadius sits back in the city of Amida. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Total War Attila, the Eastern Roman Empire, and history. And I have some bad news. I actually recorded 5 episodes of this series, and things went really, really well for us. However, the recordings all failed because of some codec issues I was having, and so I'm back to doing it again. There's a silver lining to that, however, because in all 5 episodes, I was still speaking about Hypatia of Alexandria. And while she's an incredibly interesting character, that's an awful lot of videos to be speaking about one person. So hopefully, in these re-recordings, I will be able to be more concise and speak more about the history while still playing the game. Now, one thing I want you to pay attention to, though, is somehow Arcadius developed the ability Torturer, which is a very bad thing. For right now, it's okay because it improves the integrity of his force and the loyalty of all generals and governors, but it lowers public order for the entire Eastern Roman Empire by -2. Which is huge because we're spending so much of our money rather than saving it and trying to earn interest on making people happy. The real problem, however, is if he gets the next level of this ability, which then starts to cause his generals to rebel and reduces public order even more. I don't know how he got this. I always play Arcadius as a really good guy. We capture everyone, we let them join us, we don't massacre anyone. He never really even fights himself in the battles because of his maimed arm, so I am not entirely sure where this came from, but it's probably the worst skill a faction leader can have. I'm almost considering making him a governor instead of a general, although this will never go away. It can only get worse. It might get worse anyway. I honestly don't know, but that's a problem we have to deal with. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this fellow, and I'm going to have him give his highly skilled cavalry to Arcadius in place of the scout Equites. Now there are a few things that can happen here. The first time I played this out, everything went perfectly for us, but the second time, all of these armies attacked Edessa, and there was nothing I could do. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to encourage these fellows to not siege Edessa and instead maybe attack this guy with his weak army, but it's mostly cavalry so he can escape, and then have Arcadius come up to the rescue. That's the plan. My spy is here, but I have no money to do anything with him. So I'm just going to have him kind of stand around. Maybe, can he join an army? No, he can't. So I'm just going to have him keep an eye on things. Both of my priests are where I need them to be. The kings of Axum are potentially problematic. In the playthrough that never happened, the lost episodes of Total War Attila, the Eastern Roman Empire, and history, he rebelled against us, taking half of his army with him. Obviously due to Arcadius's poor skills. So hopefully that will not happen this time around, because I don't think we can survive it. He is one of our best generals by far. Alright. And the governor of Egypt has a skill. Vendetta, I like that. Let's give him some public order. He can have that, sure. And I guess that's fine. So Hypatia of Alexandria. There is a notable event involving her that's described in the Suda, which you'll recall is a 13th century Byzantine encyclopedia. And in this event, she responded to the advances of a romantic suitor by showing him her menstrual rags. Interesting. And I guess there's... I don't know what I did in that previous playthrough to get them not to attack Edessa, but they are just going to trash it. And there's nothing I could do. Well, let's just fight it out. I know we're going to lose. I mean, we're outnumbered 10-1. If that. Probably worse. So, this is the end of us. Hopefully they will not raise Edessa. If they do, I will probably cut the recording and try again. But anyways, the Suda said, and obviously I'm paraphrasing a translation from Greek here, so if it's not 100% perfect, I apologize. But it said, she, meaning Hypatia, was so beautiful and shapely that one of her students fell in love with her and was unable to control himself and openly showed her a sign of his infatuation. Uninformed reports had Hypatia curing him of his affliction with music. The truth is that the story about music is corrupt. Actually, she gathered rags that had been stained during her period and showed them to him as a sign of her unclean descent and said, "This is what you love, young man, and it isn't beautiful." He was so affected by shame and amazement at the ugly sight that he experienced a change of heart and went away a better man. So, kind of interesting behavior. Let's see here. All right, this is just completely ridiculous. I mean, we have walls and we have an onager, which is great, and it appears they're all coming from the same angle. So who knows, folks? Maybe we'll have a chance. Let's see. I don't think I've defended a walled city so far in this LP. You can only move your mounted. Yeah, I like it. Fine where it is. And our towers are still intact. They barely harmed our walls. So we're okay. We're going to do spearmen. Spearmen at the gate. Swordsmen at the walls. Actually, can they... Well, they can't really make it up to this wall. We'll move a little bit more. There we go. And exploradores and archers, yes. We definitely want them.
Defensive positions.
Can we see what type of siege engines they have? I don't see any. No ladders. Well, there's a catapult or an onager. That's going to be a problem. So they're probably going to attempt to break a hole in our wall. We have a solution for that. Okay, we're going to hide those guys, and hopefully we'll get a chance to strike them and weaken them that way. So it says we still have another artillery. Can I place it? No. Okay, so I liked it better where it was. Alright. Actually, if we place it here, we might be able to hit their onagers. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Nope. You're not letting me do this? You're upset with me? Come on. Oh, there we go. Alright, perfect. Perfect, now we have a barricade. Shit, I don't care, yeah. And it says mounted artillery. But I have that, it's right there. Or, right there. I don't think there's any more. So. Alright, onager. Take out their onager. Standard round or flaming round? Flaming's fine.
Enemy reinforcements have arrived.
And they found us. Okay, get out of there, guys. Quickly. Alright, well here it comes. But what Hypatia is most known for, unfortunately, is her death, which still inflames political and religious discussions to this day.
Our advantage has been lost.
There are different accounts as to what happened, and none of them can be completely trusted, but I will try to summarize as best and fairly as I can. As I mentioned before, Alexandria as a city has a long history of unruliness and sectarian conflict. The Christians, pagans, and Jews in the city just didn't get along very well in this period. So, to explain further, I have to introduce you to probably the notable figure of this period that I like the least, and that is the Patriarch of Alexandria, Cyril, or Cyril. Alright, well we're hurting the onagers bad, but we're also going to lose our equites in the process. So you may remember Cyril or Cyril from our discussion on Christian sects and heresies. It was Cyril who, at the Council of Ephesus in 431, feuded with Nestorius, the Patriarch of Constantinople. And he even went so far as to convene the council before Nestorius and his supporters, especially the Patriarch of Antioch, could make it. So, at this council, he basically accused Nestorius of being a heretic and had him deposed and exiled. So, as a result, Cyril gained a lot of controversy there because he did this through trickery and underhanded deceit. Now, this has nothing to do with Hypatia, but it gives you kind of an idea of the kind of man that Cyril was and the kind of tactics that he uses to get what he wants. What's also notable is that he was sainted. Yes, he is Saint Cyril. And so that kind of gives you an idea, along with, we mentioned earlier, Constantine, that the early Christian church was not entirely, how do I word this? They didn't dot their I's and cross their T's in terms of who their saints were. And our cavalry are still alive. Let's keep them that way. Oh, you know what? Let's try to get the general. Can we hit him? Yes, we can. You know, one thing you can do in this game is you can manually fire your onagers. At least I thought you could. Loose projectiles more infrequently for an extended period of time now. Maybe. Ah, there we go. Okay, come on. Come on. Dang it. It's alright. We can try again. I like this one. Alright. We got him, but not the general. We're gonna have to work on that. Oh, are you out of juice? Dang it. Well, that almost worked out. Without their onagers, they really can't do anything, though. So, I think we're going to win the battle by default here. I know it's kind of stupid, but I'll let you see pretty scenes of Persians getting massacred while I talk more about Cyril of Alexandria. So Cyril was a political creature, and he was willing to use manipulation and trickery to achieve his ends. When the Emperor Theodosius II actually had him arrested for his shenanigans at the Council of Ephesus, Cyril not only was able to escape, but he then incited a mob to go and protest and riot at the emperor's palace. John of Antioch, the patriarch of that city, referred to Cyril as a monster, born and educated for the destruction of the church. Wow, look at all this cavalry. Just sitting around with nothing to do. Sorry, fellas. You know, I don't see any reason why I can't speed this up a little bit. Nothing's really happening. They are shooting at us with arrows. But we're not doing poorly for all that. So it was very unlucky for Hypatia that Cyril did not think very highly of her. Due to his banishment of the Jews from Alexandria and confiscation of all of their goods, Cyril was increasingly at odds with a gentleman by the name of Orestes, who was the Praetorian prefect, or just prefect, I don't know for sure, of the city of Alexandria, which is kind of like the governor of the city. And hold on, stuff's happening. Are you guys trying to bash down the door? Is that what's happening here? Well, they're having some small measure of success. No, actually stay where you are, guys. Alright, well, that's fine. I think that our guys can take him without too much effort, especially in Testudo. And I want them to funnel all their troops, especially their cavalry, through the middle here. In fact, let's have these guys back them up. So Orestes was also a political creature himself. You don't get to be a governor in the late Roman world by not being. And he saw the diversity of Alexandria, and he cultivated relationships with Christians, Jews, and pagans, such as Hypatia. And he was really upset at what Cyril was doing, and probably also a bit alarmed at the amount of power that Cyril was showing. Cyril tried to reconcile with Orestes and showed him gospels that talked about his authority. So basically he was saying, hey, prefect, look at this Bible here in these gospels. It's saying that you should listen to me and do what I say. And predictably, that didn't work very well with Orestes. He was having none of it. So as a result, Cyril, like his uncle Theophilus before him, who was also Patriarch of Alexandria, had some monks from outside the city come in and start a riot. Now, these were Christian monks that were not native to Alexandria, but from the region. And in the process of this riot, one of the monks threw a stone and hit Orestes in the head, causing him to bleed profusely. Orestes captured this monk, tortured him, and killed him for his actions. Cyril was not pleased about this and tried to make a hero and a martyr out of this monk, but the Christian population of Alexandria knew better. And they were like, you know what? He deserved what he got. We are not going to support making a martyr out of him. All right. So Cyril had to give it up. All right, with these towers firing on these guys, we're going to crush them. I don't see any way they could possibly win, especially with these guys in Testudo. So it was well known that Orestes and Hypatia were friends, and that she had some influence over him. Many felt that she was responsible for the conflict that he was having with Cyril. Though I will note, once again, that many Christians in the city were supportive of Hypatia and were moderate, and actually, she was kind of a moral authority in the city, despite being pagan. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, she was a symbol of chastity and virtue. So the people of the city liked her quite a bit overall. All right, let's see if we can't zoom in on this. We seem to be losing control of this tower. How, I couldn't possibly say, because we're effectively blocking these guys. But as you can see here, we're having some trouble. Attacked in the rear? Why? Wow, my computer is crying here. Okay, now that was ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. There was no way any of their troops could have gotten anywhere near our towers. The sphere of influence has to be further back. That's just crazy. But regardless, we are going to crush them. I can't imagine that we wouldn't. Because we're tougher troops. Our spearmen are in Testudo. scout equites are wavering. That's very strange. I'd like to zoom in and show you a good show, but as you can see, there's just too much going on here. So it's probably best we view it from a distance. But as you can see, look at here, most of our troops survive. Although we've only taken out about 500 of theirs. Let's see if we can't get over here and possibly take out some of their archers. Who knows? This is going much better than I expected it to. So, as I mentioned, the majority of the Christians in the city of Alexandria were supportive of Hypatia and were moderate. But a small group of other Christians, possibly influenced by Cyril, possibly not, but it seems like something he would do, formed a mob, grabbed Hypatia off the street out of her carriage, took her to a nearby church, stripped her, killed her, cut off her limbs, and then burned them. This took place in 415 AD. To be fair, from all the reading that I've done, I'm left with the opinion that most Christians in the city were horrified by this event. But there was no official or unofficial retaliation, or I should say punishment, against Cyril for whatever his role was in it. However, the murder of Hypatia was kind of a watershed moment in the sense that throughout history it has been continually debated. The most primary source of the event was a man named Socrates Scholasticus, a Christian who was alive during this time, and he wrote shortly thereafter. It's his account that I'm really using for my summary of the events. Alright, so the Persians are breaking through. It looks like they're cavalry, but they're not getting much out of it. If only we could just take out their general. Our troops are finally starting to see casualties. They are tired. Their archers are still firing at us. I'm sure that's not good for us. But if we could take out their general, I think we have a really good chance at winning this one. Might as well throw the archers in there. Well, there we go. Our exploradores have run away. And I pronounced that really funny. Exploradores. Come on, everyone. Take out their general. I can't see him to click on him. I mean, we should really be crushing these guys. If we had a general here with some skills, that would be really helpful. Dang it. We were doing so well. Our cavalry took off running too. Great, guys. Well, we definitely had a shot here, but... Oh, there's their general. Bahram. Hey, that's their king. That's Yazargurd. Got him! Oh, come on, guys. Come on. You're tired. You want to flee. You're unhappy. Come on. Dang it, man. I guess there's no harm in speeding it up. There's nothing we can do at this point. Just wait and see.
The men are broken and running for their lives.
So Socrates Scholasticus was considered to be the least biased source on Hypatia, but there was a more pro-Cyril source, and he was found in the 7th century, about 200 years later, and his name was Bishop John of Nikiu, or Nikui. John presents Hypatia as using satanic wiles to beguile the people of the city and the prefect, Orestes. and she converted people away from Christianity, according to him. He also claims that the Jews of the city ran through the streets one night claiming that a Christian church was on fire, and when the Christians came out and tried to put out the fire, they were ambushed and massacred by the Jews. He uses this as his justification for why Cyril expelled the Jews from Alexandria and confiscated all of their goods. John wrote that the death of Hypatia was a good thing because it was a symbol of the Christians taking control of the Roman world and finally expelling pagan idolatry from the city. We only apparently took out 988 guys. I could have sworn we did much better than that. But let's see. Before the end of the episode, let's see what happened to their forces. Or, I'm sorry, what they're going to do to our city. I thought we killed him. Bahram. Yeah, we killed him. Or maybe we killed another noble. Okay, they're not going to raise the city. That's acceptable, though I don't like how they're now scattering all over my empire. This is not, unfortunately, going as well as my previous playthrough, but so it goes. At least I was able to get through a lot of history. So in the next episode, what we'll discuss is that even far, far removed from Alexandria in the 5th century, actually in England in the 18th century, Hypatia was brought up as an important subject, and there were competing tracts, that is, I guess you'd say scholarly articles from that period, on the pro and anti-Hypatia side, and I'll go into more detail about that in the next episode. Africa's not looking great. Oh, the Armenians are coming back to Tosp. And I have 2 units. I'm just going to let them have it. There's nothing I can do with 2 half-strength units. I doubt the Armenians are going to raise their own city. And if they do, fine, I don't care. It really looked like I did a lot more damage to the Persians in that battle than I actually did. And they're just raiding it. Good for them. But now I can reinforce the city. I think. I don't think they captured it. And take back what is ours. One thing I discovered is that Nisibis is a fortress. It can be defended with very small amounts of troops very effectively. Alright, we have a rebel force attacking Hadrumentum. I'm going to take care of this off camera. So, once again, I'm Marcus Aurelius. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.